for today's episode, we have two very special guests. That is HVA VC Technical, Mr. Donold Chademana, and we also have the chairman himself, Priestledge Nhamburo. Okay, so our first guest for today is a highly accomplished coach, and not just a volleyball coach, but he's also a fitness instructor working for a local gym. I cannot really say the name, but then he's also the vice chairman, vice chair for technical in the Harare Volleyball Association. This is Mr. Donold Skills Chademana. How are you doing today, coach?
Hello, how are you?
All right.
I'm good. Alright, so I'll ask the first question. How was the level of competition in the Harare Premier League and compared to my season to Kumashuri?
Well, I can say, first and foremost, I would like to thank you for this opportunity. And then, just on the level of competition, I can say it has greatly improved. So, I started, before I came to the HV, I started coaching support unit, I've coached members. But I can tell you from those previous years, we never had any other teams play first at the high competition like the Zone 6 championships as well as the Africa Club championships. So I can tell you it has greatly improved. So far we have Harare City, we've got support units, all traveled, University of Zimbabwe, Naba as well. So I can tell you that the level of competition has greatly improved.
So, for this season, will it surpass the last season or?
Oh yes, definitely. So one of the key things in terms of development of any player is competition. So if you start playing competitions, say for example you go travel, you start playing in Harare, then you go to the National League, you go to the zonal competitions as well as even the continental competitions. Definitely as a young player, we definitely expect to some improvement. Then also it's not all about development of the player, it's also the admin. Because as the technical, we are also looking at structures which are actually structurally sound. So I can tell you that most of these clubs have been planning big competitions in Harare as well as abroad. So I can tell you that this year it's actually going to be better than the previous years.
So I'll be looking forward to it.
Okay, so mine is a two-part question. Okay, so if you notice, I think a volleyball in Harare, there was like a peak season. I think that was from 2017 to 2019, like it was sort of its peak, and then after COVID, things sort of dipped down a bit, but now it seems to be getting back there. Like right now, volleyball is very competitive. So would you say that it is the league, is it self-preserving, like it just happens on its own, or it's actually something that is as the executive and the committees, like you work on it, on saying how can we improve, and yeah, that type of thing.
Alright, so when you look at, I think volleyball in Harare generally has been, it's mainly on tradition. So first I want you to look at structures such as University of Zimbabwe, support units. So if you look at those teams, they have a sound foundation. So first and foremost, if you look at those guys, they've been there as administrators and as coaches. So it's actually something that they've actually sustaining by themselves. Of course, the committee also then comes in because we now have to create some ground for volleyball now to actually grow. So yes, they've got good administration, they've got good administration and sound admin culture for volleyball. But now as the association, now what we are going to do is just to nature and
Okay, so that brings me to my second. You said as the committee, like you have some input that you make to make it that publicity. So do you have any plans for 2024 on how to improve volleyball in Harare?
Yes, most definitely. So first I'm going to talk about the technical side, where we are planning on workshops, where we're planning on courses, and are going to be targeting first the referees, the coaches, statisticians, as well as some programs that are also going to benefit the player. So you see, in terms of courses, yes, we do have something for referees, for coaches, but the player needs workshops to help them in terms of safeguarding, doping, anti-doping, drug and substance abuse, and mental health generally. So that's for players, that's for coaches, that's for referees. And also now what we're looking at is, okay, we've had some administration, but we still need to have people who actually knows what they're doing in terms of their admin. So now what we're looking at is strengthen the club structure. So we want to have a club which is fully constituted of the chairperson to the last committee member, and they all know what they are supposed to do, whether on the admin side as well as supporting the players technically. So definitely we need to evaluate different clubs and institutions.
Okay, so you know, when I asked this question, I was expecting you to just but now, like, your response, it's given me confidence, like, in the association. Like, I can say this day when safe hands.
Thank you so much.
Alright, so my last question, you are technical vice chairperson, is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so my question is, workshops and technical GT. So how important is it to have qualified technical officials in the province?
Well, so from my coaching background, what I've just learned is to be a successful coach, you need professionals around you. So it's not only qualified professionals, it's also people with experience. So in the same vein as well, as a very association, we need to administer people who are experienced, who are qualified. So it's important to have people who specialize in different areas, whether it's finance, whether it's co-talked about the fitness area, the referees as well. We need people who are also strategic minded. So basically these workshops and these courses are supposed to usher in people fresh blood as well, who can actually chip in and assist the revenue association too.
That's profound. That was my last question. Do you have more questions?
Okay, for this one, it's in terms of development. Like, aside from the institutions like UZ and support units that are creating ground for players to develop, we also have like unofficial institutions like, for example, Boosters League. Yeah, we do have. So, for example, Noto used to be a powerhouse in feeding into the system. Like players just playing that, just get background, but put your poles, play ball all day, players develop that way. And right now, I think in Harare we have Glenview and Mfakosi as the main powerhouses. Recent success story from Glenview, that is Tanagawada, who was actually selected into the national team. Like, so I'm saying in the future, do you think maybe if finances permitting, do you think HBA will be able to support those type of non-official institutions, like those posers, to maybe give them support?
Yes, so most definitely. When you talk about that, when it comes to mind, Brazil comes to mind. Okay. Because you get those top acclaimed athletes coming from the grassroots, actually the dusty ones. Yeah. So first and foremost, I think Harare Volleyball Association will need the support from the clubs. So basically what we want to do is we want to create literature. We want to create a situation where clubs can then go all the way down. So in a way, we want to look at also just looking at supporting volleyball from that district level. So let's talk about support unit. Let's talk about NABA. So we then say, okay, NABA, obviously you're going to get your players from the dust levels. So this is what we're going to do. For your development, for example, we give them incentives. You go down there, you get players, obviously you want to current development under 18, and then you're supporting the project there. So it needs to be supported from first the NVA as an association, second to the club, then to the district, to the schools, up until we get to that player who's playing on the dust field. So basically everyone, every stakeholder in volleyball, especially in Harare, should have a part to play all the way to grassroots.
Okay. So Lisa, is that it from you?
Yeah, that's it from me.
Okay, so Makusa, machines for that. And the association so yeah, the support is coming, and thank you very much for joining us, Coach Skills. It was a pleasure having you.
Thank you so much.
So now we're joined by our second guest, who is the HBA chairperson, Mr. Priestledge Nhamburo. Welcome, Mr. Priestledge.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I understand that this year we're going to have HBA elections. So does the Constitution allow you to run again? And if so, will you be running for office again? Oh, Chad.
Like any country, the term of office is determined by the Constitution. And interesting, it's an elective AGM, so we started our election mood already. And we just ended the AGM, they've approved the election to be on the 13th of April. Yes, the Constitution allows me to run another AGM just like the national Constitution. Unfortunately, I've not been taken another term of office.
Oh, Jimmy. Alright, so what's next for Priestledge Nhamburo?
I've always been joking with my colleagues to say it's just like the type of batteries that we use for solar.
Yeah.
We started with gel batteries and we are lithium. And I was telling the colleagues to say my gel batteries have run out. It's time for me to go and recharge the cells and replace them with lithium ones. So for now, it's a time to rest, reflect on the successes, reflect on the failures, and think about what's next. Basically, I'm not saying I'm out of it, but I'm just saying it's time to reflect and re-energize.
Alright. Re-energize, I like it.
Yeah, you get it, you get the gist. So, Mr. Nhamburo, I understand that the association actually has some partnerships with the corporate world, but for a while now, dare I say, I think ever since I've been involved in volleyball, I haven't seen a headline sponsor. For example, like you can have I'm not going to name small corporates, that might be compromising, but they might say Nike, the Nike Red Football Premier League, something like that. Like we haven't seen that in the league. I'm not sure if it has been done in the past, but I haven't seen that in a while. So what do you think is the way forward, and or what are the problems that are hindering that from happening?
Corporates love the majority sports. When I say majority, in our country, sports are classified into the big sports and the small ones. Volleyball is deemed as a minority sports, where for you to convince a sponsor, they ask a lot from us. What is the ATC? And you find just a few of them willing to take risks on this sport, which can give them better mileage. Yes, we have not had title sponsors, but we've always had a few partners that have come through, not because we've got everything, but it's a way of assessing it maybe from these few partners that we have. You will notice in 2023 we started to receive a few of these corporates now coming in, selecting 1 or 2 items from the main budget. But for you to get the title sponsorship, you need to at least sponsor at least 60-70% of the whole event budget for you to get in charge. It's just like when you put your sponsorship packages, there's platinum, gold, etc. So if you don't get someone willing to take the platinum package, then it means you can't get a sponsor. You can always have one or two prominent individual sponsors. But at the end of the day, the volleyball community needs to apply what we call charity begins at home. You can't expect to have sponsors where you can't pull the numbers by yourselves. The first question is how many, on your own social media pages, how many followers do you have? Because the sponsor will ask, what mileage am I going to get? And if you look at it, Habari now stands with about 3,200 followers on Facebook. Is it enough for a sponsor to get mileage that they had? No. But how many athletes do you have in Peru? More than that. Why is it following the main pages? So you can't drive people to say follow if they don't want. But the same athletes, the same people are asking you to get the sponsors. But what mileage am I going to give the sponsor? So charity begins at home. I would say when they meet in the bus. It begins with you and me, not only the executive.
Okay, so you heard from the chairman. In that office, guys, in that mobile, the collect button, HVAs in one, or other volleyball associations. And while I'm in that, to an Nhamburo, follow an MNL page on Facebook. So yeah,
Alright, so now you've come to the end of your tenure. So can you say that you achieved your set goals, your objectives as an executive?
Achievement might be a big word. Our tenure, to me, I would call it a limited tenure. On the sense that we spent about 2 years during COVID. It means not much you could do. As an association, we are not only on the 6-a-side volleyball. We're supposed to look after all forms of volleyball from development to competitions. Yes, the flagship is the HV Premier League, but we could have done better. We've registered our own successes, but we've also areas that we learned due to time constraints, due to the economic instability that we have. Whereby sometimes you need to have projects running, you need to have political funding, but sometimes the money that we have is quickly losing value. For example, due to exchange rates. One example is 2023, one day the rate was around 3,000, the next day just woke up 7,000 on the black market. Then what happens on the normal, on the official rate? It wasn't moving that much, but most of your suppliers will then go to them, what rate happens? It becomes a challenge where you're trying to operate within the official rate. But if the suppliers are using a different rate, it becomes very expensive. But then it doesn't progress for you to move forward. It's true.
No, I think the chairman was very elaborate in his explanations, and once again, I want to thank you for coming onto the show. Just taking time from your busy schedule, because we know it was a hassle to get you to come here. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and my appreciation to the stakeholders for believing in me. Maybe I'm not even another interview. I thank you to them. I call them Asante San.
It's okay. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so we've come to the end of the show, and a huge thanks from me and Lisa here and the rest of the MNL team. I'd like to thank you for supporting us. So if you like the show, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and like the episode as well. Please follow us on our socials. On Facebook it's MNL, and YouTube it's MNL Next Generation Sports. Thank you for watching.